What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So for our second movie review that we are doing for today, we are taking a look at the Australian horror thriller film. I also, in my opinion, I think it could easily be labeled as a horror psychological film as well. I think it probably leans more towards that than being a thriller, but we are taking a look at the film called Freelance. This film just came out 2.5 weeks ago. And I say it just came out 2.5 weeks ago because that's when it came out for us here in the US. I did look in to see, and this film does have an original release date of 2024. Sorry. I'm not sure exactly when in 2024, but I'd imagine it probably got a 2024 release date in Australia. And then again, we just got it here in the US via digital about 2.5 weeks ago. So did take a look at this film yesterday. I had it on my list. We did do a trailer review and reaction to this one when the trailer became available for us here in the US, and I added it to the list. It looked great. I was all in for it. It was that type of film where, again, I like the psychological horror films, so this was right up my alley. Added it to the list, got the date listed, and as soon as it became available, I rented it, and then just got around to watching it yesterday. So we're gonna do a semi-spoiler review. I think in order to do any type of review on this film, there's going to need to be some level of spoilers, at least some level of laying the groundwork as far as the storytelling goes. Now, I won't get into too much of the details, again, to try and leave some non-spoiler content there. So for those of you who saw the trailer, had this on their list, and wanted to check it out, I don't want to, again, fully spoil it for you, but we will dabble in some spoilers. So we are going to be talking about spoilers from this point forward, but before we do so, if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are at almost 500 subscribers, so every little bit helps. So again, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have already subscribed to the channel, whether you are new or existing, thank you for doing so. I appreciate all the support. And make sure to drop a comment in the comment section letting us know at the end of this video if you've seen Freelance, what your final ranking was out of 5. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? But also let us know in the comment section if you do plan on seeing it, regardless if you're watching this full video or not. Still interested to know who is out there liking to see these news. I see them as news stories because, again, I haven't seen a horror film go down this path before. And this might be something that's looked at a little bit more in the international market, and it's just now coming here to the U.S. But for me, it's a new take, it's a new story. It's not the same old slasher type film. It's not a rinse and repeat type thing where we've seen this time and time again. I do feel this is slightly different. Now, whether or not it is good or not is we'll get into that now. So, semi spoilers going from this point forward. I'm not going to completely spoil the film for you, but we are going to talk some spoilers. Again, I feel it needs to be done just to lay the groundwork. So I have my notes here. Again, this is an Australian horror film. It does have a bit of a slow burn, and the slow burn is needed. It's necessary, again, to lay the groundwork for the primary character, for you to understand what she's going through, what she's struggling through. And then it starts to pick up once she starts taking on, if you know what a freelancer is, you would then understand. She's a freelance editor, video editor. So once things start to pick up, you'll understand why. So the character's name is Katie. Again, she's a freelance video editor, and she's still trying to get her big break, I guess we'll call it, in the industry, whatever industry it is nowadays, would be like editing for big time movies, commercial studios, things of that nature. So she does a lot of odd jobs, whether that's adult videos, things of that nature, just in order to get some level of income. So despite the fact that she's hard up for money, she's unable to she does have some addictions, whether that's drinking, whether that's certain recreational items. She does have a minor addiction there. She's has this landlord that she rents an apartment, so her landlord's constantly at her door trying to collect rent, but he's kind of this creepy, sleazy type landlord, right? The ones that you would normally see depicted in TV series or movies, and he fits it to a T. He is pretty sketchy. He does some very sketchy things later in the film. I won't mention what those are. as far as that how they impact her. But you do see it play out, and at first you don't think it's him, but then you come to find out he's probably involved. So I won't lay out what he does or how it goes about happening, but I think any person watching this film and seeing these things happen, I think your first thought's going to be is probably the landlord. So in order to try to get by, she keeps telling everyone, hey, I'll pay you back, whether that's for her coffee, whether again it's for her rent. So again, as time goes on, so we also have, I think, I'll call them two very minor characters. One goes by the name of Kevin, which is one of her friends. He works in the same field, but he's got his big break. He's very successful. He's very well known in the industry. So he's been trying to keep an ear out for her. If something comes up, to put her name out there to try to help get her a more stable job. And there's also another individual, he goes by the name Guy. And he believes he is her boyfriend, and she doesn't believe that. She's clearly using him. But in my opinion, her character is very much that personality. She uses people to get what she wants, and then once she has what she wants, it could be a very immediate right then and there. She wants nothing to do with them until she needs them again. Which, and I think that just makes the character very shitty. And it makes me feel less and less sorry for her when things start to happen, because it's like, you had no problem treating all these other people this way, and now you're looking for sympathy because you're going through something. I don't have time for that. So anyways, so she's very desperate for money. So she receives this message while she's at her computer, out of the blue, from this anonymous person saying, hey, we're looking to get some videos edited. We'll pay you this amount of money. And it's a large, substantial amount of money for very minimal work. And this is where the psychological thriller, psychological horror thing starts to pick up. So they send her the footage, and they don't send it to her via email, they actually have a external hard drive delivered to her with the content on it. So she starts working on the content, and she's realizing, this is where I'm going to give a warning for this film. So the content that these anonymous individuals are asking her to edit, and this goes back and forth as far as what the content is. It's different content every time for each video when this comes up, and some of the content is extremely depending upon who you are. That the subject matter is hard to watch, and you don't really see everything. So they show you a small bit of it, and then they pan the camera over to her, so you see her reaction to it. So we're really not seeing anything graphic. We're not seeing anything of what's truly happening. We're really seeing her reaction to what the content is. But you do get a brief viewing into what it is, so you could imagine what's going to happen or what's happening. And again, it can be very difficult to watch. So I'm going to warn you now. If you feel like that, based on what I'm telling you, that it could be toting the line a bit, that you may not want to expose yourself to it, I would say avoid the film then, because it does dabble into the fact that she's editing snuff films, and again, some of the content there, it can be very hard for some people, for many people, to be exposed to. So be aware going into it that that's what's happening. But she doesn't. So moving through the story, though, she doesn't realize if they're real or not. She tries to find out, and the only way she's interacting with whoever with this is just via this chat online. And they're not confirming. But then the more she's exposed, and the way this turns into a psychological film is that the more she's exposed to this content, and I think this is part of the message the film is maybe trying to say, is the more that you're exposed to this type of content, how it impacts you psychologically. So she starts to hallucinate, she starts to see things, she starts to get very on edge, with her own life in general, because she's constantly exposed to this, and she just can't figure out if it's real or not. But then when she starts to push back that she doesn't want to do this anymore, then somehow they have tapped into her computer, her mother, her brother's computers, right? So that they're starting to threaten in a way her family, so which then pushes her then to continue doing it because she doesn't want her family involved. Not so much involved in knowing what she's doing, but so much as involved as she doesn't want them getting hurt, right? So the film continues to play on until they will start wanting to up the ante, you know, when they keep contacting her, whether it's the videos, but also wanting to now do things, having her do things herself to somebody else. Again, that's where we start to get deep into spoilers, and I don't want to do that because again, the film was only it's only been out for 2.5 weeks here in the US, so some of you may still want to watch this. It may still be on your list, so I'm not going to fully spoil it. I'm probably going to stop there because any further I go into what she's asked to do, with who, to who, I think it would completely spoil the rest of the film. So I'm going to leave it there as far as the details of the film. Now, as far as my score of the film, I would give it, I'd give it an easy 4. I could even say a 4.5. And again, I don't feel sorry for the character at all. What she ends up having to do, going through, only because of how she treats people in her life all the way through the film. I don't feel sorry for her. I'm giving it a high score for the simple fact of how the actress was able to, one, portray the character, portray everything that was happening, especially for, again, the fact that we're not seeing the content of what's being edited. We're having to live that through what she's experiencing. So I thought she did that very well. I like the story. We don't typically see these types of stories that often, so I did enjoy that. And the fact it's also an international film as well. I'm glad to see other international markets getting into more of the horror genre. And it's starting to kind of spread globally, right? Whether it's U.S. going out to other markets or other markets coming into the U.S. I enjoyed that aspect as well. So I give this an easy 4 out of 5. I would probably watch it again. I wouldn't probably watch it so soon, just because I don't think the rewatch value is there to watch it, on a Monday and turn around and watch it again on a Wednesday. For me, it's not that type of film. Would I probably watch again in like a month or so? Absolutely. I would probably watch it again in a month or so just to go through it again, because there's a lot of information to take in as you're trying to follow the story, trying to figure out who's doing what, who's involved in what. So I think another rewatch would, now that you kind of know what's going to happen, you can pick apart those aspects and kind of look out for those signals and those signs as to, oh, that makes sense now. Oh, okay, now I know why this happened. Again, I think probably a second viewing would help with that type of stuff. So anyways, that's going to do it for my thoughts and review for Freelance. Again, I'm giving it a solid 4. I would go, as you all know, if you've seen any other of my movie reviews, I would typically go into a lot of detail. I mean, we would do almost like a literal walkthrough of every aspect of the film through the end and what happens at the end. But again, because this is only out for 2.5 weeks, I don't feel like it would be I don't think it'd be the right thing to just full out spoil the film for those of you who do want to still see it and be surprised. So we may come back later on with a full-on spoiler review after a couple months, once it's been out there for a while. Maybe I'll do that, but otherwise, I kind of want to leave it at that. So let me know down in the comments section if you've seen the film. Don't spoil the film, but at least let us know what your rating was out of 5. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? If you haven't seen the film, and if this was something that was on your list, knowing it was coming, let us know if you plan on seeing it, because I would love to know your thoughts once you have. And again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It does help us out a lot. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Peace.